Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me here. June 5th, episode 5 for this month. Like I said, I'm doing a new episode every day for the month of June, a new article of some kind. Um, Gonna be tough to do, but I know I can do it. Appreciate everyone's support so far. Um, yeah, this is a real favorite of mine that I'll be sharing today and really kind of opens up your mind to what people were really thinking about when they were discussing ruins and ancient sites here in the States. And yeah, pretty unbelievable to think that you could have been reading articles like this. And this is a pretty old one. This one's from 1858, Pennsylvania. Time is precious. I appreciate you all for being here and watching these and all the wonderful things and comments you've had to say over the few short months since I began this journey on YouTube. But let's jump right into this article. It's titled Antiquities in America. Again, 1858, Pennsylvania. Antiquities in America. Throughout the entire length and breadth of the country, washed as it is by the winters and two mighty oceans, by the waters, my apologies, and two mighty oceans, and abounding in natural resources, enormous beyond what is impossible to conceive. We find much to admire in the aspect and beauty of nature. And whether we travel from the distant shores of Maine and New Brunswick to the golden sands of California and the shores of the great Pacific, or from the bright crystal lakes of Minnesota to the orange groves of Florida, we behold, throughout the immense extent, the features of nature, grand and beautiful in every form and aspect. The mineralogist and the geologist, the naturalist, the botanist, and even the antiquarian have all a rich field here. Strange as it may appear, America abounds in antiquities so extensive, so beautiful, and majestic as to rival those of Thebes and Nineveh. Ruins of ancient cities of immense extent, fortifications, mounds, and pyramids, temples with walls built of hewn stone, showing a refined taste in architecture, and adorned with human figures, beautifully executed, large altars ornamented with hieroglyphics, probably giving a record of those who reared them, but which no man has been able to decipher, remains of ancient places, with beautiful specimens of sculpture and paintings, with many other marks of ancient greatness, prove to us that this is not a new world, but that a powerful empire existed at a very remote period of time, teeming with a population highly skilled in arts and in a state of civilization far beyond anything we have been led to conceive of the Aborigines previous to the discovery of the continent by Europeans. Well, that paragraph right there goes against everything we've been taught, doesn't it? And this is 1850s. The antiquities of America extend from the eastern shores of Maine and Massachusetts to the Pacific, and from the Great Lakes and British dominions to Peru and La Plata in South America. In fact, throughout the extent of both continents, immense forests grow over the ruins of large cities, and the gigantic size of the trees, which indications that other generations of trees sprung up and grew before them, proves that the ruins were in extent before the Christian era. In every portion of the United States, interesting ruins have been discovered. In the state of New York, have been found sculptured figures of 100 animals of different species, executed in a style far superior to anything exhibited by any of the existing tribes of Indians. The state of Ohio abounds in ruins of towns and fortifications with extensive mounds and pyramids. At Marietta and in Missouri, beautiful pottery, silver and copper ornaments, and pearls of great beauty and luster have been dug from the earth. In the caves of Tennessee and Kentucky, mummies have been found in a high state of preservation, clothed with cloth and skins of various texture, inlaid with feathers. Like discoveries have been made at Carlton, near Milwaukee in the state of Wisconsin. Ruins of huge fortifications appear. Similar ruins appear in the state of Missouri. On the south side of the Missouri River, in the western portion of the state, is an enclosure of some 500 acres, which includes the ruins of a building, no doubt an ancient tower, with walls over 100 feet high and 80 feet wide at the base. Unbelievable. With walls over 100 feet high and 80 feet at the base. You guys, unbelievable. Huge. Attached to which are a redoubt and a citadel with work much resembling the structure of a tower in Europe. What they're describing is unequivocally a star fort, a very, very large one, right? 500 acres, an enclosure, 500 acres, walls 100 feet high, 80 feet thick, a redoubt, a citadel, an ancient tower. Work much resembling the structure of a tower in Europe. And again, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, you should. I've been showing what they were saying about these ancient forts, these star forts in America. They were unequivocally describing star forts. I show many examples of this, especially around the Tennessee and Missouri area. But the star forts are all over New York, Pennsylvania, all around the Great Lakes. It's pretty incredible, and they are as crazy as you can imagine. They're just buried here in America, or they took them apart to build buildings. But it is in the south of Mexico that magnificent and beautiful ruins present themselves in abundance. Ruins of majestic cities and magnificent temples and altars, with beautiful works of sculpture tastefully wrought, palaces adorned with paintings, colors chiefly sky blue and light green, which show by their richness and elegance to be the work of a highly cultivated people. These ruins, majestic and beautiful in appearance, but overgrown with thick forest of mahogany and cedar of immense dimensions and great age, prove to the world that a great empire existed here at a very remote period of time, and that this empire teemed with an immense population, a people skilled in the mechanical arts, and in advanced state of cultivation. The most extensive ruins are to be found in Uxmal and Palenque, in the southeast of Mexico. At Uxmal are immense pyramids, coated with stone, and quadrangular stone edifices and terraces. The highest of these pyramids is 130 feet, and on the summit it supports a temple. On one of the facades of the temple are four human figures cut in stone, with great exactness and elegance. The hands are crossed upon the breast. The head is covered with something like a helmet. About the neck is a garment of the skin of an alligator, and over each body is a figure of death's head and bones. At Palenque, a city of great extent, are immense ruins with the remains of a royal palace. One temple, that of Copan, 520 feet by 650, and supposed to have been as large as St. Peter's at Rome. Another temple of great dimensions is here, having an entrance by a portico 100 feet long and 10 feet broad. It stands on an elevation of 60 feet. The pillars of the portico are adorned with hieroglyphics and other devices. Different objects of worship have been found, representations of the gods who were worshipped in this country. These temples, with 14 large buildings and many other objects of curiosity, stand here as monuments of ancient greatness to remind us of the remote origin of a mighty empire. The city has been described as the Thebes of America, and travelers have supposed that it must have been 60 miles in circumference and contained a population of 3 million souls. Centuries must have elapsed and dynasties succeeded each other before such orders of architecture were introduced, and a great length of time must have passed before an empire would become sufficiently powerful to erect such temples and possess a city of such vast extent. In looking back to the past, we feel interested in the imagination that this people once, in the noonday of glory, enjoying all the fruits and luxuries of an advanced civilization. But when we behold these ruins, a melancholy reflection must at once seize our minds. On the ground were once nations met in their strength and power. Wild beasts now roam and venomous serpents wind their way, and over these vast ruins were once the busy hum of industry. And the voice of merriment resounded. Grows the vast cedar on whose branches the owl chatters discordant notes and the bat sleeps at meridian. In this country is exiled the largest pyramid in the world, that of Cholula, near Puebla. It covers 44 acres and is 200 feet high. On its summit was a temple, and in the interior has been discovered a vault, roofed with beams of wood containing skeletons and idols. Several smaller pyramids surround this large one. It appears to have been formed by cutting a hill into an artificial shape. Its dimensions are immense, being nearly 3 miles in circumference and about 400 feet high. It is divided into terraces and slopes covered with platforms, stages, and bastions, elevated with platforms and elevated one above the other, and are formed with large stones skillfully cut and jointed with cement. In some respects, the style of architecture resembles the Gothic, being massive and durable, while in other respects it resembles the Egyptian. Yet the general construction manner and style of architecture is different from anything hitherto described in the world. In Egypt, hieroglyphics on stone denote remarkable events, which no one has yet been able to decipher. A dark shade rests on the antiquities of America, and a few rays of light enliven the gloom. We have ancient history to inform us of the events of Egypt, how the empire was founded, and how it prospered and fell. We have the same record of Babylon, Nineveh, Greece, Rome, and Carthage. Yep, and I get to do these recordings thanks to my little guy here. I do nap times with him, and he's awake. So we're going to finish this off real quick and call it a day. So again, thanks for joining me, and but not the least information have we relative to those who erected these cities, what people and whence they came. What people and whence they came, not a ray of light to dispel the dark gloom which seems to rest on the earliest history of America. Architecture, sculpture, painting, and all the arts that adorn civilized life have flourished in this country. One sec, guys. I'll be right back. Thank you again for your patience. Architecture, sculpture, painting, and all the arts that adorn civilized life have flourished in this country at a period far remote. There is evidence sufficient to prove that these cities were in ruins at least 16 or 1800 years ago. In Palenque are the remains of an altar over which grows an immense cedar, whose powerful roots enshrine it. The whole city is overgrown with mahogany and cedar trees of enormous size. The concentric circles of some of these trees, well known cycles of a year, have been counted, which showed they were more than 800 years old. And there were indications of another generation of trees having sprung up before them. How few reflect on the fact that America is an old dominion, the seat of an ancient mighty empire. These facts are opening themselves every day to the eyes of the astonished world, and it is to be hoped that the spirit of inquiry, which seems at present to animate all classes of learned men, many throw light on the early history of this remarkable region. Whew. Crazy, 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 crazy. Um, yeah. So much to touch on there. Um, Once we get into some more of my Mexico articles, Central America, South America, um, as I get farther along through Anomalous America, or maybe even finish it, maybe before then, I don't know. Depends on what the direction of everything goes. We'll show some really amazing archaeological evidence that this shows the antiquity of this region and really makes you question the mechanism um, involved in this realm that we inhabit. Because as they stated there, the tree growth shows an incredible antiquity. And as this author was postulating, 16 or 1800 years since the city was abandoned. And yeah, once we get into the some of the other articles, you're going to find when they excavated Palenque and some of Cholula and some of these other places, Uxmal, they found two or three civilizations buried below. Just like we talked about in my last video about Cyrus and the cities buried below Iran, several civilizations below. It's the same here. Same thing in Palenque. Same thing, Tenochtitlan. Civilization on civilization. So even the most advanced and remote are on top of another even more advanced and even more remote civilization. So yeah, just wanted to touch on this one. It kind of is a cool little overview of some of the amazing things in America, and yeah, just the beginning, really. And like I've said a million times, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. You can search many of my other articles pertaining to this. You can just search antiquities. You can search temples. You can search star forts. You can search fort, whatever you want, and you'll find a bunch of articles if you want to chase further. Um, yeah. And for those who are asking, the membership is up. Membership's alive. I just have 2 levels so far, and the second level includes early access to my Atlantis series. I'm 2 episodes in, so there's 2 episodes for that, and um, all kinds of other custom content. So yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Appreciate you all very much, and have a wonderful day.